Welcome back to Every Pokémon Ever. Today we're going to talk about the Nintendo e-reader, a strange peripheral that allowed you to scan code cards to download content for your favorite games. This little device was not the first e-reader to release, however. You may not know that Japan actually had—
Cut!
Wait, what? I haven't talked about this yet.
Cody, we already filmed a segment on the Nintendo e-reader.
Wait, have you been filming things without me?
It's hard to explain.
Please don't replace me as host of this show. It's all I have left.
Oh boy. Okay. Action!
So as I was saying, the e-reader was compatible with a variety of franchises, from Mario to Animal Crossing. It could bring an additional experience beyond the native game. A shining example was the notorious Kirby prize card from E3 2002. It would tell you if you were a grand winner at the event or not, showing the capabilities of the e-reader beyond video gaming. Many of the cards there were torn up after use, making it exceptionally rare. And with all the variety in the e-reader collection, none went as hard as the team-up with the Pokemon trading card game. Pokemon cards started including dot codes on them, starting with the Expedition series. By scanning cards in the e-reader, you could see in-depth Pokedex information about them, straight from the games, unique sprites, and evolution data. To an extent, anyway. Some cards even contained bonus moves that were only visible on the e-reader. Imagine trying to use this at a tournament. My Electro does too no energy sprinkle. You can't tell me any different. There's also a nice display for the moves here. Kind of akin to another certain TCG helper game that I would rather forget. Hey, this is neat though. Let's get back on track. By scanning in longer dot codes on certain cards, you can find 30 plus unique minigames hidden on this device, and you better believe we're gonna play them all. Bundled together in e-reader boxes at the time were 3 expedition cards to get you started: Machop, Machoke, and Machamp.
Need more dot codes to start. Scan remaining dot codes.
Now this is interesting. Since the minigames require multiple cards, by scanning one from a set, it will show a special menu on the e-reader telling you which cards you're missing. Once we scan in all 3, we're ready to play.
Scanning of dot codes complete. Start application.
3, 2, 1.
This game is called Machop At Work, a button-mashing game where you ward off rolling boulders with your fists of fury. As Machop, you can either jab or uppercut by pressing A and B respectively. By timing your punches correctly, you can break apart the boulders before they pummel you. Your goal is to survive all 100 rocks. This soundtrack sounds like the 80s, you know what I mean? While monotonous, there is a saving grace if you stand in front of this butte here and uppercut the whole time. I've found you mostly survive without a scratch. If you make it through 50 rocks before being stoned to death, your little Machop will come to and evolve into a Machoke. That's nice. And of course the grand prize, if you make it to the very end, not only will your buddy become a Machoke, but then a Machamp, without a link cable. How about that? So which other cards in the Expedition set included dedicated minigames? Well, if you collect both a Corsola and a Quillfish, you can play a charming underwater freefall minigame called Diving Corsola. Corsola's swimming isn't something a lot of us think about, but just look at how cute she is as she wiggles her little arms. Anyway, you'll see a big HP bar on top. Your mission is to descend to the bottom before this runs out. Along your way, several Tentacool and Quillfish are blocking your path. If you hit them, you'll lose a bunch of HP. By running over bubbles, you regain some energy. This can be infuriating, particularly with Corsola's slow movements, and with some near impossible obstacles near the bottom. Save up those bubbles. If you finally make it, you can reunite your Corsola with their family. Ah, how sweet. If we scan Caterpie, Metapod, and Butterfree, we can play a sweet-smelling game called Flower Power. We have to fly our Butterfree safely through a field of flying Beedrill and miniature Coughings, all while collecting pollen from flowers. Butterfree's flying mechanics are a little hard to nail down. After a while, we see some Rattata scampering on the ground, so it's best to keep airborne. I don't think there's an end to this. Just your high score, so I'm good. Let's move on. Flying Journey is a fun cutscene that shows our pal Dragonite flying around the world. You can view it by scanning in only one card, the non-holo Expedition Set Dragonite.
Ah, yes. It's time to explain the holographic versus non-holo compatibility with the Nintendo e-reader.
Unfortunately, while holo cards are reveled for their rarity and value, when it comes to the e-reader, Pokemon did something odd. They completely voided the e-reader barcodes, replacing them with these shiny lines that do absolutely no good when it comes to scanning. So if you're an e-reader snob, you need to seek out the more common, non-holo versions of the cards. It seems counterintuitive, but you'll need a regular old Dragonite to see this special scene. On the flip side, some games need mini cards, like the exhaustive list to play a game called Go Poliwrath. In this game, you control the titular Pokemon in a race against Marill and Golduck. The controls of this game are maddening. What are you doing, Poliwrath? Jeez. Okay, so hopping off right off the bat, you'll see Poliwrath fall back a little bit. Shortly after that, you'll want to alternate A and B as fast as you can. I think? I don't know. There's little information. But after a breaststroke of luck, I finally claim first place. Well done. Next we have another solo cutscene called Gotcha, which you can view by scanning in a Jinx card. Oh, look, with her new purple skin. We get to see a short clip of Pikachu taking a nice walk. But then he runs into trouble. He gets a pluck on the cheek from our favorite kissing demon lady thing. Ugh! Don't worry, there's more. If we scan it again, we can now see Elekid is chasing a Smoochum, but this time Jinx uses mean look on him and forces her lips upon him. The implications of this are horrible if you think about it. That's nasty! It makes me like Jinx even less than before, if possible. Ew, what's that smell? Welp, it's Gloom. By scanning in Gloom and Oddish, we can play the cutscene Here Comes Gloom. His odor is so bad that he knocks out all of the Pokemon in the trees above. One even falls and conks him on the head. Wow, don't expect a brand deal with Febreze anytime soon. Let's lighten the mood a bit with a minigame called Hold Down Hoppip. You need Pichu and Hoppip, go figure, to play this gem. You are now a Hoppip wrangling Pichu, and your job is to keep your 5 pets from floating away into outer space. This game sees you frantically running back and forth. Ah! No, where are you going? Ah! Oh no, look at how sad his face is as the Hoppip floats away. That's heartbreaking. By acquiring the seemingly random seafood platter of Goldeen, Cloyster, Magikarp, and Kingler, we can see what happens in Kingler's day. While the topic of Pokemon eating Pokemon is generally frowned upon, it's only natural. Here we help Kingler get lunch by pressing or holding down A in varying degrees, to make him scoop down his crab hammer to grab some fishies. If he hits Cloyster's hard shell, he gets hurt for a moment, so our goal is to avoid those and grab as many Magikarp and Goldeen as possible. Wow, that's what I call an all-you-can-eat buffet. Yum. The next quote minigame is titled Lifesaver. No, not those. This is a continuation skit of the Dragonite Flying Journey cartoon from earlier, but this time we're going to scan in Dratini and Dragonair to see that Dragonite finds a drowning Pikachu. Looks like me during the Pikachu's Beach minigame. Ay ay ay. Anyway, Dragonite saves the day. If you watch the clip the second time, Pikachu has a string of Pokemon attached to him, which is hilariously capped off with a Wobbuffet. Like, how long was he underwater? Is he okay? I have questions. Next, let's talk about Magby and Magmar, or in Japanese, Booby and Boober.
Boober.
By scanning in the two Pokemon, you get a fun cutscene of them roasting each other. Huh. A nearby Articuno gets sick and tired of this and flies by to freeze them both. But they melt the ice and go right back to the flamethrower battle. Okay. Next, let's look at Pokemon Dash. I hope that this is a racing platform. After Pokemon Race Mini, the bar is set very, very high. Well, no, sadly, this is yet another cartoon. This one showcases a Rapidash running across a field, and at the end you get to see Rapidash's max speed. 209 miles per hour? You kidding me? I strongly doubt that. Ash Ketchum would have had his face melted off or something. Yeesh. Another short clip is called Metronome, the staple move of Clefairy and Clefable, which has led me to some terrifying realizations. But nevertheless, scan these two in to see this fun scene where Clefairy uses Metronome to transport herself through time. What is she, imitating Celebi? And then a spooky Haunter shows up and scares Clefairy off. That's funny. The last e-reader event the Expedition set had to offer lies behind the non-holo Vileplume card. Unlike its time as Gloom, this sweet scent scene shows Vileplume actually attracting Beedrill, Diglett, and Dugtrio. Ah, a happy ending. Now, we're finally done with that set. Yeah, there's much more to cover here. So let's talk about the E-cards in the Expedition sister set, Aquapolis.
Ooh! Executor.
Known as the coastal town on no map, the Aquapolis set is awesome. Not just because of more e-reader shenanigans, but because it finally officially introduced unique crystal-type Pokemon to the TCG, which have a colorless typing and a Pokebody ability that can change a Pokemon's type to match the attached energies. So an Ice-type Onix isn't out of the question after all. But we're here for the e-reader games, so let's start off with a doozy called Dream Eater that needs 7 cards to complete. Now you might notice this says we need Drowsy twice. You're gonna love this, but some cards in the same set have different print releases, where the only difference is literally this little text blurb here on the card that says A or B. But for some reason, the people at Pokemon thought it would be funny if you needed both varieties to play some games. So we don't only need a Drowsy with an A, but we need the same exact card with a little B. How frustrating is this? Like just having one Drowsy isn't enough? How did this happen, Pokemon? Getting a little greedy there, aren't we? After all that work, this game better be worth it. We play as Drowsy, who's trying to use Dream Eater on a Primeape without getting caught. You kidding me right now? If he turns towards you, he may punch you, which means you lose. You try to get him to fall asleep as many times as you can. Are you serious? This is it? Oh man, that was not worth it. Let's see if the next game, titled Harvest Time, is any better. I'm sure it is. We need to scan in Furret, Execute, Paris, Tangela, and Apom. Fruit's fallen from the trees above, and your hungry Apom needs to catch them all. But watch out for Sunkern. You don't want to touch those or you'll get flustered for a moment. And of course, the moment we drop one fruit, A starving swinub is waiting to prowl it from our grasp. We did all right there. The next game is called Jumping Doduo, and it only needs 2 cards. What a breath of fresh air. As you might guess, you'll need to scan in Doduo and Dodrio to play this game. This running game is very simple to control. You just have to jump over all of the Pokemon that get in your way. If you accidentally bump into or jump on a Pokemon, your mad dash is over. After 20, it looks like things are speeding up. Let's go. Wait, was that a boulder? What? Oh no! Bumped into a Dugtrio. Well, we did alright. Let's move on. For the next one, you'll need to scan the entire Larvitar line, Onix, and Kangaskhan to play a game titled Mighty Tyranitar.
This is the coolest Pokemon game I've ever seen!
We are a Tyranitar, and our job is to save the planet by unleashing a hyper beam on flaming boulders that are hurling out of a giant volcano. Yeah, I just said that sentence. I mean, it doesn't get much cooler than this. And while I always thought of Tyranitar as a cheap Godzilla knockoff, he crushes it here. Literally. To play the minigame Punching Bags, we need the entire Tyrogue line. Oh, he's cute. Well, except for Hitmonlee. For 1, he isn't even in the Aquapolis set. And for 2, it's called Punching Bag, not Kicking Bag. As well as Phanpy and Marowak. For some reason, this game has a Tyrogue whose goal is to jab and uppercut these punching bags that pop up without getting hit by them. The bags start to pop up more rapidly, and the controls are wonky. Well, we gave it a go. Our next title has not 1, but 2 Voltorb cards to scan in. Hey, at least they have different art this time, unlike Drowsy. We're also going to need 2 different Magnemites to play Rollin' Voltorb.
Rollin', rollin', rollin'.
This game is very simple. You are a Voltorb trying to survive rolling down a hill, all while avoiding boulders and the odd Magnemite that pops up every once in a while. This one is relaxing compared to some of the others. It kind of reminds me of Chansey's Dribble from the Pokemon Mini. Ah. Ah, got me. That was fun. The last minigame for the Aquapolis series is called Sneak and Snatch, which requires Scyther, Pinsir, Bellsprout, Weepinbell, and most importantly, Sudowoodo. A Totodile is hoarding fruit, and we need to go in for a dine and dash with our Sudowoodo. But if Totodile catches on that you're a Pokemon and not a tree, he will water gun your face and chomp down on all the fruit himself. So we need to be sneaky, hence the sneak part, only moving while he looks away. The levels get more intense as you go on. Ah, got caught. Urgh. It's time to move on to the final TCG set on our e-reader adventure, Pokémon Skyridge. This set introduced more unique Crystal-type Pokémon, including a pretty rad Ho-Oh, but as you may have guessed, it also had more minigames hidden within certain cards. Scan in a Skyridge Ursaring, Nidoqueen, Gligar, and Growlithe, and you get to play a cute game where Mama Ursaring is getting her baby some berries. The only way to shake the tree is by repeating a pattern that shows up on the screen. At first we're just mashing the B button, so easy enough. If you collect the berry goal, you get to move on to a harder pattern. Wow, we're really dropping these berries.
One minute later.
After a while, the game just ends, probably because they didn't add a 1000-digit to the scoreboard. Who knows? Sometimes I think the needed cards for a game are completely random. But by scanning in Granbull, Snubbull, and Ditto, we can play a game starring the little pink transforming blob called Ditto Leapfrog. I love that this game takes place on the backside of Kingler's Day. The continuity. Chef's kiss. Disregard my comment about Kingler eating his victims because Ditto here is going to save all of the fallen Magikarp and Goldeen by bouncing them back into the river. If you miss any, you lose a life, and this game gets harder as it speeds up. Yeah, that's the best I can do for now. Sorry, guys. Let's follow Hoot Hoot to the next game by using his card along with Sunflora, Venonat, and Weedle. While I swore off memory games in the past, for reasons, this fun game has you mimicking Hoot Hoot's sick dance moves before the timer runs out. Oh, excuse me, Teacher Hoot Hoot. Yeah, nice bow tie.
Yeah, it's cool. Bow ties are cool.
DDR ain't got nothing on this game. It does get kind of monotonous after a while, and you're bound to slip up, but luckily you have 5 more chances. After a long while, you'll get a message saying that Teacher Hoot Hoot is replacing some buttons with question marks, so you have to either watch or listen to the audio cues to know what the button is supposed to be. It's still pretty easy to figure out though. Wow, look at that! I can verify that the score of 269,300 is the world record for this game. Why? Because nobody has bothered to play this game for this long. So for now, I am a world champion. Are you crying because of the prospect of me finally achieving greatness in the Pokemon world? Or is it the onions? That's right. We're gonna scan a Piloswine, Swinub, female Nidoran, and a Farfetch to play the Leek Game. A clan of Teddiursa, those little vandals, are now trying to steal some of our leeks because they need to calm the mountain of berries in their stomach. But we know Farfetch will protect this patch of leeks with his life. So we go round and round and whack them off. Also, it looks like the Swinub are trying to get in on the action. As time goes on, this gets harder and harder. Oh man, I think the Teddiursa population have a serious breeding problem. This is out of control! Yeah! Yeah! Finally ate all my supply. Dang it. But we still have our 1 leek at least.
What time is it? Oh, it's late. Almost late enough for night flight. Sorry. Some of these transition puns are absolutely horrible. Okay, all of them are horrible.
Anyway, let's scan in a Zubat and Golbat to check out this dark and mysterious minigame. A lonely Zubat flies into a cave to collect floating apricorns. But watch out, because hiding in the dark are coughing that'll knock you out. The only way to see where they are is to use Confuse Ray echolocation. This game is so hard because even if you're constantly blasting screech waves, it's still hard to hit every spot. Ooh la la, a red apricorn. We actually made it farther into the cave than I thought we would. That's a fun one. Everybody on your feet, it's time to liven it up with a dancing game called Pika Pop. Using Pikachu, Raichu, Meowth, and Persian, we can find a grassy field with 4 speakers and a boombox. Pichu and Togepi were born to dance, and it's our job to keep that dream alive. When the speakers stop playing music, we have to restart them. If one of them blows up, the party's over and we have to go home. Come on, come on. Song change! I like how they use one of the e-reader theme songs here. Oh no, sorry guys. Dropped the ball there. Let's continue the fun by scanning in Cleffa, Rattata, Yanma, and Shuckled to play a game called Ride the Tuft. Odd name there. This game is heartbreaking. A baby Cleffa has been separated from its mother, and the only way to scale the cliff to where she is patiently waiting is to grab hold of these dandelion tufts. Or are they the hair of a Jumpluff? Anyway, we have to scale them across this field to hopefully get high enough to reach the cliff. And if you fall, well, you become Ekans' lunch. Just saying. So grab tight and don't ever let go. This is hard. Oh, look. We made it at least once. I don't think we're going to beat level 2. Nope. Well, that's a game. Ah, watch out! Is the name of our last minigame from the Skyridge series. We will need Alakazam Dunsparce? Okay. Murkrow and Wobbuffet. Let's hear Wobbuffet say its name, and hear it you will. While borderline hilarious, it does get kind of annoying to hear Wobbuffet over and over as you counter bouncing Donphan and Miracle away Thundershock attacks. The trouble starts when Electabuzz and Donphan start coming at you all at once. 15? I can do better than that, yeah? Oh my. Nope, 15 it is. And that's every minigame from the baseline Pokemon TCG sets. But not every minigame from the promo cards. Gotcha. You may remember during our lengthy discussion of the Pokemon Center New York that there were a handful of unique promo cards released for the store. And wouldn't you know it, some of them include the e-reader dot codes on them as well. By scanning in Rapidash and Ho-Oh promo cards, we can play a special game called Fire Hoops. As it loads up, it will harken back to Pokemon Dash. But look, Ho-Oh is here this time, and he has a Sonic-esque challenge for us to complete. What is this, Cirque du Soleil? We have to light 100 rings on fire by jumping through them. Easier said than done. This thing really speeds up. Eventually, when we reach the end, Hoa will see us as an equal, and we'll both soar off into the flaming sunset. Or whatever, I'm just making up the backstory here. Now it's time to talk about the movie Pokémon Forever. Again, why on earth would we talk about this subpar film entry again? Well, surprisingly, 2 e-reader promo cards are tied to the movie. If you went to the showing of Forever in theaters, which I did, you would get the special Celebi Forever promo card with your ticket. And then Suicune could be obtained by purchasing a VHS copy of the film. But we'll get back to that one in a second. So by scanning Celebi, we unlock a special animation of the time-traveling celery stick. Celebi shows up to the forest to eat berries after Ursaring destroyed it. But unfortunately, he's still hungry. So what does Celebi do? Use its awesome demigod-like powers to travel back in time to eat more berries. That's a great use of phenomenal cosmic power. Well done. Well done. Now if you play the clip again, it's funny, because there's actually a Pichu and Pikachu eating up here, and they pop out and scare Celebi to the ground. That's hilarious. Speaking of Pokemon Forever, let's travel over to Japan with ANA, the airline company that has toted me off to many island adventures. If you exchanged your boarding pass for a promotional time, you could receive a special Pikachu and Larvitar promo card. When scanned, a small cartoon would play, based on Pikachu's Peekaboo, the short that preceded the Pokemon Forever movie.
But first, we need a Japanese e-reader. Like I was trying to explain earlier,
And
a Japanese e-reader.
cut again!
Oh, come on!
I don't know what's going on around here, but just know you need a Japanese e-reader to scan Japanese cards. Larvitar is just doing its normal thing, chilling at a mansion, when he spots Pikachu in the bushes and tries to catch him. This is a really charming clip. In the end, Larvitar does win the game of hide and seek. But if you watch it a second time, we're now perusing about the grounds, and Pikachu might just pull it off this time. Through the bushes. Well done, buddy. While typically American, fast food chain McDonald's actually has had a huge presence in Japan for years. Or should I say, WickDonald's. After all, rival burger joint Burger King swept up much of the early Pokemon promotions in America. But in 2002 Japan, they decided to make a special dedicated e-reader booster pack to release in Happy Meals for a limited time. Sounds crazy enough, but even crazier is the fact that just 4 of these special cards had data for an e-reader minigame of their own. How many Happy Meals would you have to buy to get your hands on those? Holy cholesterol! Yeesh! But if you could find Chinchou, Mareep, Totodile, and Meryl, you'd have the chance to play Wooper's juggling game. In this minigame, Wooper has to juggle around a Poliwag and a Totodile. See how long you can keep them airborne. This is hard to control. Ah, darn. Wooper seems happy with our results, though. Always smiling, that guy. I like how the flowers popped up at the end. Speaking of juggling, there was actually one more e-reader game where you throw stuff in the air. A while ago, I found a load of stuff left in my room, revolving around Japan's odd Pokemon celebrity Imakuni. Hey, wait a minute. Oh, I get it now. I sense some timey-wimey shenanigans going on, and that you guys have heard this before. But Imakuni's Ball is a Game & Watch inspired minigame that you can access by scanning a special Imakuni promo card. Why is he wearing a silver costume? I have a feeling that all will become clear to me someday. Huh. Anyway, I can't seem to beat my high score of 11, so let's move on. This last one's a doozy. Japan's JR train line held an event in 2002 called the Pokemon Happy Adventure Rally. In addition to handbags and playsets made for the event, 6 unique promo cards were handed out to ticket holders at different stations, so you would have to buy a ticket and travel all over the region on a special train tour to collect them all. Not only that, but each station had a special walkthrough Pokemon experience, with hidden goals to complete. This was a big deal. Anyway, as for the cards, earning 5 of the 6 promos, that's Celebi, Entei, Pikachu, Pichu, and Lugia, would unlock a minigame for your e-reader called TokoToko Truck Rally. 2 little Pichus are pumping a railcar trying to reach their final destination, the Tokyo Pokemon Center. In their way are a barrage of boulders that they must jump over. If they hit obstacles, it'll slow them down. Let's try to make it to the end before time runs out. The train running in the background is disorienting. This is kind of hard. Come on, little buddies, you can make it! Whew! With 9 seconds to spare. Welcome to the Pokemon Center. Now what about the 6th promo card? Well, Mewtwo also has a long dot code on its JR Train Rally card, but this would just showcase a special password. According to the official site, by completing the entire train rally, you could receive a commemorative Pokemon wallet at the end. And then, you would also obtain a special postcard. And by mailing in this postcard to Pokemon with the passcode from your Mewtwo promo card that you can only see on a Nintendo e-reader, you would be entered into a lottery to win a, quote, special gift. Huh, well, that's pretty vague.
Huh.
In addition to all the gameplay we've covered this episode, there are also a variety of apps the e-reader could display. Expedition's Chansey would start up a coin flipper app, featuring the TCG's Chansey token. Should I keep narrating this episode? Heads is yes, and... oh, darn it! The trainer card Bill's Maintenance also had a coin flipper app of its own, which is basically the same, except it treats it more as a game where you try to get as many heads as you can. Professor Elm's training method...
Does Professor Elm have a training method?
Huh. Will lead you to this cool timer app. Great for timed TCG duels.
Five minutes later.
And yeah, I really sat here for 5 minutes, just to see how it ends. Ah. That was worth it. Professor Oak's research, on the other hand, includes a different kind of timer. Think of the timer used in a game of chess, where each player trades off timing their own turns. In this way, during a TCG match, each player would be restricted to a time limit per turn, so nobody can stall the other player out when they're winning. That's handy. Skyridge had a couple of Easter eggs as well. By scanning in either Haunter or Teddiursa, you can play around with the screen where you move the Pokemon. That's it. It's just a fun little Easter egg. This fun little game also applied to the other Japanese promo Pikachu card. See these? They're different! We have come so far in this episode, it would be insane to think that there's anything left to do. But we still have 2 giant elephants left in the room. Hey, get out of here! Some cards have a code that will prompt an app called Construction Melody Box. This app uses 3 different card stylings, music, sound, and pattern cards, to make a song come to life. From Beethoven's Ninth to this. Huh, sounds familiar. To all sorts of Pokemon Classic themes, music cards are hidden throughout the Expedition, Aquapolis, and Skyridge sets. Let's take a quick peek at all the songs available in the Melody Box. Even some of the Japanese McDonald's promo cards hold music for this thing. Woo! The Suicune promo card I mentioned a bit ago will play Born to Be a Winner from the Johto League Champions arc of the anime. And Japan's exclusive Pokemon Center cards play, well, yeah, go figure. But selecting music from the massive library is only half the fun. You can change the sound with sound cards. Want to hear the Kanto battle theme sung by a Chikorita? You got it. Or a rubber band version of New Barktown? How about Hallelujah, sung by aliens? That's hilarious.
And they would want to enslave us and battle.
Seriously, from banjo to clarinet to tennis rackets, your possibilities are endless. It says this contains the sound of a feather girl? I don't know what that means. Huh. Then you can change the background using a variety of pattern cards. There are so many options! And after all is said and done, Clefairy can help you change the pitch and tempo. The chances of your melody matching anyone else's are slim to none. But this fun music app isn't the only construction game. There's one more game found in the Aquapolis and Skyridge sets titled Construction Action. First, you need to find one of several character cards included in these sets. Look at that big, beautiful, mustached man!
Relic Hunter or Fisherman? I think the choice is pretty obvious. No, wait, not that one.
Your character will vary slightly in-game, as each one has different speed, jump, and throw stats. After assuming my Pokemon title, Relic Hunter Cody, I like that, we now need to build our obstacle course. In a time before Mario Maker, there was construction action. This pitfall-looking course builder where you can scan up to 6 cards and try to catch Pokemon or just complete the course within a time limit. Most map cards include a course featuring that Pokemon, so scan in Politoed and you get a simple Politoed course, etc., etc. Some are harder than others. This game is horrifyingly hard. I am really bad at this. The legendary beasts are almost as hard to catch here as they were in real life. Jeez. With dozens of map cards to choose from, you are again creating a very unique experience that can be changed every time you play. But we could spend an eternity going through them all. Oh boy. The e-reader cards are vaguely remembered by some today, but most don't seem to recall their existence. After all, the bulk of this hefty minigame project spanned only 3 sets released around the same time. But there was so much here, and you can see the love and dedication, the all-around randomness that Pokemon was using to hype people up. Put all of these together, and you could have a Pokemon WarioWare title for the ages. It was fun to dive to the deepest realms of the Nintendo e-reader, and I'm glad we made it. Thanks for watching, and remember, stay awesome, Pokemon fans. Every Pokémon Ever is 100% non-profit, by the fans, for the fans, but there is a way that you can help out. We're supporting St. Jude Children's Hospital. Donate today and help end childhood cancer.